Senate President, don't apologize. Thank you very much, Senate President. If Nigerian people carry your matter, your own don't cast, but I'm gonna watch the video. How Senate President apologized to Natasha for peace to reign. Yes. So just look at it now. Yeah. For peace to reign, Senate President don't apologize. So wanna watch and see. Wanna see. Yeah. You can see. Just watch the video.
I had cause to refer to the Legislative House's Powers and Privileges Act 2004 and also our standing rules, where it is clearly stated that whenever a member stands up to talk, the other member must sit down and must listen in silence. Is a norm, and that you can only speak when you are recognized. I take cognizance of the fact that each and every one of us is still learning. Even those of us that have been in the Senate for 16 years, we are still learning. So we'll do well to continue to learn. But in the course of my talking to one of my distinguished sisters that she should speak whenever she's recognized, I made reference to the fact that we are not in a nightclub where people have to shout above the noise of the music. And the social media went agog. I'm not on social media, but my wife called me that people got angry. They published her number and said people should occupy her. So she used to receive, she received over 2,000 to 3,000 phone calls a day. And then I tried to on one of my phones. I realized it was in the public. In fact, the phone crashed after about 3 hours. So I'm very happy with the interest generated by Nigerians in what goes on in these chambers, because we are here to cater for their interests. And so for them to be so interested in what goes on here means that we are connecting with the people directly. And it would have been terrible if we were doing all this work and the people were not even aware of what we are doing. But the communication was totally misunderstood. Instead of taking it for the nature of what we said, that you should not shout when you are talking and not and speak when you are recognized, they went into private abuses. I don't want to say what they did to me, because what they did to me, I think I don't merit it. I was telling DSP that it's even the one they should be talking to, because in my tradition we marry only one wife. So they listed so many wives on social media. And at the end, it will look as if the Senate President had or has so many wives. When indeed, I'm reporting to my colleagues, I have only one. And I'm satisfied with that one. And she's a beautiful and loving woman. I will not intentionally denigrate any woman. I have a wife, I have 4 daughters. And I always pray that God will lift a girl child to the highest zenith in Nigeria, politically and in business. I also want my children to do well. So, distinguished Senator Natasha, I want to apologize to you if you felt offended. If I had mentioned that we are not in the market, they will say I said you are a market woman. If I said that you were not in a nightclub where people shout above the noise of the music, they will say you went to nightclub. If I said you were not in a community meeting in the village, they will say Akpabio says Natasha is a village woman. for me, there is nothing I would say that will not be misunderstood. But the interest generated in the social media, people jumped in, shows that you have a lot of political enemies. It also shows that I do have enemies. All of us here contested elections with people. So whenever those people think that they are being brought down, they will jump up and they will say all sort of things. I noticed even some of them that could not pass through Senate screenings went into the fray and abused the Senate president, abused you and all that. I don't know how you took it, but I felt that I should tender a public apology to you over the miscommunication and the misunderstanding. So do accept my apologies, and my colleagues, for anybody who could have felt offended, I accept my apologies. I did not mean any harm, and I did not mean what they are misinterpreting in the social media. And I hope this will come to an end. And people should concentrate on things that will move this country forward and not things that will divide us. So I hope the apology is accepted.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
First and foremost, is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu a terrorist?
That is where I want to start. It's IPOB, because if you say Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you are like, IPOB, is he actually a terrorist?
Because I don't know why would I say that anybody pleading for the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be held as a terrorist.
IPOB is not a terrorist. Neither is their leader a terrorist. Because when you name a group or organization, whatever you may call it, a terrorist, that means it is the leader that is the terrorist, the one that organized it. And if you take a look at the whole thing, what is playing now, you discover that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not a terrorist, and he has never participated in anyone, and he can never be. And let me tell you, in case you forget, do you know currently now that the British are giving IPOB members asylum? And if they can openly, this is the second time they are doing that, if they can openly give IPOB asylum, definitely we are not terrorists. Because a country like a British can never welcome terrorist group in their country.
So what do you think make the Northern Coalition group to make that very ugly statement?
This statement.
They even mentioned Peter Obi.
Yes, because anybody that said, you know, they said anybody asking for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. When they say it, don't you see all those Fulani imposed governors?
Okay, does it mean that
East? Those ones are they asking for the Fulani?
Afenifere that also demanded for the immediate release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Are they also a terrorist?
I am coming, my brother.
Are they also a terrorist?
I don't know.
Benjamin
Kalu, is he a terrorist? I don't understand. So the thing remains, it is not their fault, but it is the fault of Ohaneze, who's supposed to stand to speak for their people. They are there collecting bribe, supporting evil. It is not their fault. It is the fault of the governors in the East, who's supposed to stand up to do the needful. But they are there being fooled. I don't blame them. That's why they come out to say Obi. Is there any northern person, the Fulani person, that is more educated than Peter Obi? Is there any northern person that is more enlightened than any other person in the eastern region? One stupid elder Fulani man said that it is the poor Igbos that are asking for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra. And I asked him, I replied to him yesterday, now, Oga, you are a fool. How many Igbo children do you see that goes out and beg for food? How many of their children did you see on the streets of Nigeria begging for survival, begging for food? You say they are poor. You that is rich, your children is outside begging for food. Me and you, who better? And you open your dirty mouth. I don't know whether you don't see all these Fulani teeth. They know they brush mouth. The only person where their house go know how to do clean up. They look at them, see, then just watch them. You understand? You have the audacity to talk when I'm talking. You have audacity to refer me. Do you know the meaning of terrorist? Do you know the meaning of terrorist? Because they are allowed in this country, you that is a total stranger, then you have the guts to call me a terrorist. You have the guts to come and say Nnamdi Kanu a terrorist. Who gave you the impetus to do that? Because Nigeria is a country that have admitted as a terrorist country and they welcome terrorists. That is why you people are messing up. Because if it is a country, look at what has happened against C.J. Musa and his cabinet. Don't you see the mess? They have messed them up because of what? This kind of things that is going on in the country. You cannot invite somebody like C.J. Musa and turn him